Christian, where are you today, man? I heard you at Casaurina Beach, at the Ghosthouse. Is that true?
Hey, how's it, gangster man? Yes, I'm going to the second house today.
Okay, tell us about your stuff there, man. I would love to hear a story. Apparently there's something that happened there recently that you want to tell us about today.
It's a special place. It's been visited by lots of tourists. I'm not going to tell you the story now. You have to listen to this whole thing. I made a whole video on it. And just hang in there. They are the remnants of an old shipwreck at Casaurina Beach. There's a famous graffiti-covered ghost house at Casaurina Beach. There are footprints on the beach at Casaurina Beach. There used to be Casaurina trees at Casaurina Beach. There are legends and stories at play, and I now really want to show you the way to the spooky house at Casaurina Beach. Gurusamy Naidu, the original owner since 1926, is not with us anymore, and neither is his wife. When you visit the ruins of this once beautifully styled house, the house which had extra verandas and a strong Victorian influence, you are often met by two almost raven-like black birds that guard over it. During one of my visits to photograph and videograph it, these birds swooped down on me and tried to slap me with their wings. This was eerie. I didn't like the unnerving feeling that went with it. The superstitious part of me felt as if the original owner and his wife were still there in a different way, trying to protect the remains from invasive people. Of course, the ruin provided such an attraction to tourists that it is constantly visited. The fame of this house signified some importance in the minds of the residents of the north coast of KZN, and they just didn't want a 90-year-old house to settle. Edgar Allan Poe wrote a wonderfully skilled narrative spooky poem about a raven with a special name. I quote some from it. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, Nevermore. Some call it art through vandalism, and that is to some great extent what graffiti art was all about, but its world is changing. Graffiti art has become formalized, and nowadays we find many of these artists that can make a living or income from it. In Durban, you may find many murals in business areas that were actually commissioned by these businesses. Graffiti has also been the tool of those that want to speak to the social consciousness in one way or the other, the rebellion of those that seek to express a different world, and those that want to show the world in a surreal way, to detract from its formal reality. It speaks and shocks at the same time, and it attracts an audience, and it leaves scars in observers. What was the message, we may wonder afterwards? It felt scary to some extent, the distortions, the evil appearances, the extraordinary use of color and writing. Why, I thought to myself, do I feel that somebody is staring at me when I go through this house? There's an uneasiness and beauty at the same time. It is an irresistible place. It pulls you from the road when you drive past an M4 from Durban, but it also leaves you with a strange feeling. Would there really be ghosts behind these walls? It has been empty since 1994, and who knows what may have happened here through the years. Were there any serious crimes? The thoughts of this is strangely eerie because you know it may have happened, but the internet does not reveal much about it. I have personally noticed teenagers that hid in the kitchen while smoking what appeared to be a joint. But the house gets dark and black at night. It can speak from its walls. It's in the eyes, I realized. The eyes of distorted figures that look at you and talk to you and judge you and threaten you, and that is filled with sadness and some are filled with love. It makes you feel watched. There's nothing else here. We all know that ghosts are just figments of the imagination that are fed by urban legend and horror movies. In these figures you will find a struggle, a war of minds, some that came here to shock and scare, and others that saw this and tried to speak a gospel in between the innocence of pop culture. There's the smell of urine and beer and things now and then, although it is often cleaned and maintained by the people of the adjacent famous restaurant Beach Bumps. The owner there have long ago realized that this house brings valuable visitors to his own establishment and that it is worth it to maintain it well and to clean up the overgrowth around it. There used to be Casaurina trees at Casaurina Beach. There were legends and stories at play at the Ghosthouse at Casaurina Beach. There used to be the ruins of an old ghost house at Casaurina Beach. The ghost house at Casaurina Beach is Nevermore. On the 10th of June 2016, the old ghost house was demolished on the demand from the local authorities. Nevermore, nevermore.
I'm always very careful when I go to that place. Gives me the creeps, man. I don't know why.
Yeah, thanks gangster guy. How's it, man? Yeah, we finished now, and I just want to say thanks to everybody that is watching this, and thanks for everybody that's watching my videos. And I really would appreciate it if people can subscribe to my channel, because that's the only thing that drives me to do better. You know, there's not much money in this, if any. And the only way to make it worth my while to carry on is to get subscribers, as many as possible. That's how anybody that's doing something for YouTube, that's serious about it, actually can carry on. I would really appreciate it, guys. I don't ask any other favors of you. I just want you to support my channel and to leave comments. Tell me where I go wrong, what you don't like, and what you see and want to see. I am planning a whole series on some ship salvaging videos that I've taken over a 2-year period. There's a lot of things that I want to do. I enjoy this, but I really need support, because otherwise this has to stop, and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to carry on.